You're stuck in traffic, cars barely moving, and it feels like this day will never end. The driver in front of you jerks the car like they just got their license yesterday, and someone behind you is honking as if that'll make things go faster. Your phone won't stop buzzing, your boss is sending a third message demanding you redo a project by morning, and you haven't even had lunch. Your stomach growls, the fridge at home is empty, and you feel anger boiling inside, like a kettle about to explode. Sound familiar? Now imagine you could just exhale and stop being angry. Completely. At the traffic, the driver, the honker, the boss, the empty fridge, even at yourself. This isn't a dream or a fantasy. This is Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that teaches you how to stay calm even when the world around you is chaos. I'm going to show you how it works so you can stop getting upset about anything or anyone forever. Ready? Let's dive in. Life isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you react to it. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, lived thousands of years ago, but their ideas still help people deal with anger, stress, and frustration. They believed that our emotions, anger, sadness, irritation, don't come from events, but how we judge them. Traffic doesn't make you angry. You decide it's infuriating. Your boss doesn't ruin your mood. You let their words get under your skin. Stoicism teaches you to take responsibility for your emotions. It's like grabbing the remote control to your mind and stopping the outside world from pressing your buttons. You become the captain of your ship, even when the storm rages around you. Picture this. You're waiting for a friend at a cafe, and they're an hour late. Your phone is silent, your coffee's gone cold, the waiter's giving you side-eye, and you're starting to think they don't respect you. Irritation builds like a snowball, and you're ready to fire off an angry text. Now pause. Ask yourself, can you change the situation? No, you can't. They're already late. So why waste energy on anger? The Stoics would say, accept what you can't control and focus on what you can, like how you spend this hour. Read a few pages of a book. Reply to a work email. Order another coffee and savor its aroma. You can't make your friend show up on time, but you can choose how to respond. That choice changes everything. This is the first key of Stoicism. Divide the world into what you can control and what you can't. The weather, traffic, other people's behavior, random setbacks, these are beyond your power. But your thoughts, reactions, and actions, those are entirely yours. When you realize this, half your problems just melt away. You stop fighting what you can't change. It's like quitting banging your head against a wall. The pain stops, and you start noticing the doors around you. Traffic? A chance to listen to your favorite music or an audiobook. Boss criticizing you? An opportunity to improve your work and shine. Friend running late? A moment to enjoy some solitude or plan your weekend. You start seeing the world differently, and what once felt like the end of the world becomes a minor inconvenience, not worth your nerves. Let's break down how this works in real life. Say there's a colleague at work who constantly interrupts you during meetings. You start speaking, and they jump in with their own comments, making you feel like your face is burning. Irritation floods you, and you're already imagining telling them off. Instead, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what's really making me angry? Their words or the feeling of being unheard? The Stoics taught that our emotions reflect our judgments. If you think your colleague is disrespecting you, you'll get mad. But if you decide their behavior is just their way of expressing themselves, not an attack on you, the irritation fades. You can't make them stop talking, but you can stop taking their words personally. It's like putting on noise-canceling headphones when someone's being loud. You hear the noise, but it doesn't bother you anymore. I ran into this myself a couple of years ago. At my old job, I had a colleague who loved pointing out my mistakes in front of everyone. Every time I'd lose it, how dare he? I felt humiliated, like he was trying to make me look bad. It would eat at me for hours, replaying how I'd put him in his place. But then I tried the Stoic approach. I asked myself, can I change his behavior? No, he is who he is, and I can't force him to change. Can I change how I react to him? Yes, I can. I started seeing him as someone who just craves attention to feel important. His words stopped feeling like a personal attack. I got calmer, responded with a smile, and over time, he stopped picking on me, probably because he saw I wasn't reacting emotionally anymore. It was a small victory, but it showed me how Stoicism can transform not just your mood, but your relationships. This doesn't mean you have to become an emotionless robot. Stoicism isn't about suppressing feelings, it's about managing them. You're allowed to feel anger, sadness, or disappointment. You're human, not a machine. But instead of letting those emotions take over, you learn to observe them from a distance. Imagine your emotions as clouds drifting across the sky. They come and go, but you're the sky, always calm and clear. You don't fight the clouds or try to chase them away. You just watch them pass by, staying steady. It's like learning to breathe evenly, even when the world feels like a storm. One of the Stoics' key tools is an exercise called premeditation, or negative visualization. It's simple. Every morning, imagine what could go wrong today. Not to stress yourself out or become a pessimist, but to prepare. Say you're heading to an important meeting. Picture the client being rude, the tech failing, or you getting stuck in traffic. Run through these scenarios in your head and decide how you'll respond. For example, if the client criticizes me, I'll listen calmly and offer a solution. If the projector breaks, I'll explain the material verbally. If I'm late, I'll apologize and get to the point. When you're ready for the worst, reality rarely feels that bad. It's like putting on armor before a fight. You're not afraid of the hits because you're prepared. I tried this before a tough conversation with a relative. We used to argue over little things, and I knew he might say something hurtful. That morning, I imagined him criticizing my plans and decided I'd just listen without arguing. When the conversation started, he did start grumbling, but I was ready. Instead of exploding, I nodded and said, "I see your point. Let's talk it through calmly." The discussion went smoothly, and I felt like I had won, not over him, but over myself. I was in control of my emotions, and that gave me an incredible sense of freedom. It was the moment I realized Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a tool that actually works. Another powerful Stoic idea is accepting the inevitable. Life is full of things we can't control: illness, loss, failure, other people's actions. The Stoics taught that fighting the inevitable is like trying to stop the rain. Instead, open an umbrella and keep walking. This isn't about giving up or being passive. It's about working with what you've got and not wasting energy on what you can't change. Lost your job? Instead of cursing fate, think about the doors this opens. Maybe it's a chance to switch careers, start a business, or take a break to rethink your life. Sick? Use the time to rest, read a book, or reflect. Acceptance doesn't make you weak, it sets you free. A friend of mine once lost a big contract she was counting on. She was devastated, spent days unable to snap out of it, angry at herself and the client. But then she remembered Stoicism and decided to approach it differently. Instead of drowning in self-pity, she sat down and made a plan. Update her portfolio, find new clients, take a marketing course, sharpen her skills. A month later, she landed a project better than the one she lost. She didn't change the situation, she changed how she dealt with it. And it worked. She didn't just bounce back, she grew as a professional because she stopped wasting energy on useless frustration. It was a perfect example of how accepting the inevitable can be a new beginning, not an end. Stoicism also teaches you to value what you have. We often get angry because we want things to be different. More money, a better job, perfect relationships, a different city, better weather, a nicer boss. But the Stoics reminded us everything you have is temporary. Your home,
Health, loved ones, even your current problems, they could all vanish. This isn't a reason to be sad, it's a reason to be grateful right now. Try finding 3 things every day that you're thankful for. It could be your morning coffee, a child's smile, sunlight streaming through your window, the smell of fresh bread, or just waking up and breathing. When you appreciate what you have, you spend less time being upset about what you don't. I started doing this a couple of years ago. Every morning, I'd write down 3 things that made me happy. At first, it felt silly. What's so special about my life? But over time, I noticed I complained less. Even on bad days, I could find something good. A tasty lunch, a funny meme, the smell of rain, a chat with a friend. It's like training your brain to spot the good stuff, and the bad stuff stops hitting you as hard. Eventually, I realized I could find something to smile about even on the toughest days. It's not magic, it's a habit that changes how you see the world. Another Stoic secret is practicing self-discipline. They believed willpower is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. Start small. For example, set a rule: no checking your phone for the first 15 minutes after waking up. Or do 10 squats when you feel like complaining. These tiny wins over yourself teach you to control your impulses. And when you can say no to your fleeting urges, it's easier to say no to the anger trying to take over. It's like learning to steer your life's wheel, even when the road gets slippery. I tried this with my habit of procrastinating. I used to put off tasks until the last minute, then get mad at myself for it. Instead, I started forcing myself to work for just 10 minutes. If it didn't go well, I didn't beat myself up, I just tried again. Over time, I got more productive and, more importantly, calmer. When you know you can control yourself, external problems don't feel so overwhelming. You start feeling like the master of your life, not its victim. That sense of control gives you the strength to handle any challenge, whether it's an argument, a failure, or just a bad day. But what if emotions still overwhelm you? Sometimes anger or hurt hits so hard you feel like you're about to explode. The Stoics advised stepping back and looking at the situation from the outside. Imagine you're watching your life like a movie. You're not the main character, you're the audience. Your boss is yelling? Just a scene in a comedy. Traffic dragging on for 2 hours? A boring episode in a series. This helps you detach and stop taking things personally. You start to see that most of our problems are just fleeting moments that'll soon be forgotten. They're not worth your nerves. I once got stuck in an airport for 12 hours because of a delayed flight. People around me were furious, yelling at staff, demanding answers. I started getting worked up too, but then I remembered Stoicism. I pictured this as just a chapter in my life's book and decided not to waste my energy. Instead, I bought a coffee, found a comfy chair, and started reading a book I'd been putting off. I ended up having a better time than those who spent their energy shouting. I didn't change the situation, I changed how I dealt with it. And that made me feel freer. It was a moment when I realized I could stay calm even in chaos. Stoicism isn't about never feeling emotions, it's about not being their slave. You can't stop life's waves, but you can learn to surf them. When you start applying these principles, separating what's in your control from what's not, preparing for the worst, appreciating what you have, and building self-discipline, you notice that anger and frustration become rare visitors. They show up, but they don't stay long. Another technique the Stoics loved is reflecting on death. It sounds grim, but it's a powerful way to rethink life. Imagine this day is your last. Would you waste it being angry about traffic, an argument with a colleague, or a broken laptop? Probably not. You'd want to spend it with people you love or doing something that matters. This thought helps you filter out the little things that usually get under your skin. When you remember life is finite, you value each moment more and waste less on negativity. I tried this during a particularly rough day. Everything was going wrong. Tight deadlines, a fight with a friend, a broken laptop. I was on the verge of losing it. But then I asked myself, if this were my last day, would I care this much? The answer was clear. I called my friend, apologized, and we made up. I broke the deadlines into small tasks and did what I could. The laptop, it got fixed the next day. The problems didn't disappear, but I stopped letting them control me. It was like a breath of fresh air. I realized I could choose what to focus my energy on. Another thing the Stoics emphasized was living with virtue. They believed that living rightly means being honest, fair, and kind, even when it's hard. When you act with integrity, you're less likely to be angry at yourself or others. If someone hurts you, instead of seeking revenge, try to understand why they acted that way. Maybe they're going through a tough time. It doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it helps you let go of resentment. You free yourself from the weight of hatred, and that makes you stronger.
Once, a neighbor yelled at me for accidentally taking her parking spot. I wanted to snap back, but instead I apologized and offered to help with something. It turned out she was stressed out from work. We ended up talking, and now she's one of the friendliest people in our building. Kindness didn't change her, but it changed how I saw the situation. I felt better because I chose understanding over anger. Stoicism also teaches you to be ready for change. Life is unpredictable, and what seems important today might be gone tomorrow. The Stoics said, treat the world like a temporary home. Your house, job, even your loved ones, they're all on loan. This doesn't mean living in fear of loss. It means cherishing every moment you have. When you accept that everything is temporary, you stop clinging to things and people, which means you suffer less when you're gone. I learned this when I moved to a new city. I left behind friends, my familiar home, my favorite coffee shop. At first it was tough. I was angry at the circumstances, at myself, at life. But then I remembered Marcus Aurelius's words, "You can be happy anywhere if you accept that nothing external is truly yours." I started seeing the move as a new adventure. I found a new coffee shop, new friends, new opportunities. The anger faded because I stopped holding on to the past and started embracing the present. Another key Stoic idea is finding meaning in challenges. They believed every difficulty is a chance to grow. Problems don't just happen, they teach you patience, resilience, wisdom. Lose money? It's a lesson in financial planning. Fight with a loved one? It's a chance to learn to listen and understand. Every challenge is a gym for your character. When you see problems as teachers, they stop being enemies. I went through a phase where I lost a chunk of money due to a bad investment. I was furious at myself, the market, everyone. But then I asked, what can this teach me? I started studying finance, reading books, analyzing my mistakes. In the end, I not only recovered the loss, but also got smarter about money. The problem didn't vanish, but it became a stepping stone instead of a pit. That's Stoicism, turning obstacles into opportunities. Stoicism isn't a magic pill that instantly solves everything. It's a practice that takes time, patience, and effort. But the more you practice, the easier it gets. You start noticing that traffic, arguments, failures, rude colleagues, they don't get to you anymore. You become freer because your reaction is your choice, and that choice is always in your hands. You can't control what happens around you, but you can control how it affects you. So the next time traffic, your boss, a late friend, or a broken laptop starts getting under your skin, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, can I change this? If not, let it go. If yes, act calmly. You can't stop the wind, but you can adjust your sails. And when you do, you'll realize Stoicism isn't just a philosophy. It's a way to live freely, calmly, and happily, no matter what life throws at you.